Host of Vital Signs. I'm a health journalist. I want to talk about men's crisis and the kind of health problems men are facing, particularly on the psychological front. We know that loneliness is really coming through, not just for men, but a huge problem in society. I heard from the doctor behind me, Dr. Molly Malouf, who's a physician and who's an author. She alerted me to the statistic that the effect of loneliness is such that it's the same as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. That's the effect on your lifespan from loneliness. Recently, in terms of men's health, it was reported that, this goes back to 2025, that men are 5 times more likely to report feeling lonely than they were in 1990. Why are men facing this situation? There's a number of schools of thought on this. The doctor behind me, she says it kind of relates to why would men face this problem more than women? She talks about it from a biochemical standpoint, that men being vasopressin dominant, why women are oxytocin dominant. Oxytocin is the love hormone, or the hormone of bonding. What helps a mother bond to her child. It's the hormone of affection, whereas men are vasopressin dominant. She told me, and this is actually more associated with aggression and protection and defense, these kinds of drives in men that to some degree are being downplayed in society, like these things that are traditionally associated with masculinity, with revised, you might say, notions of masculinity out in society. There isn't perhaps such a place for men to express this side of their personalities. So this is one reason why she suggests that men might be struggling socially. On the other side, you have people saying that, probably talking about it from a more political standpoint, that with the rise of feminism over the last 50 or more years, that women have moved ahead and men have been left behind to some degree. And so this is why men are having trouble dealing with that situation. I'm not subscribing to either notion. I'm not here to talk about politics, but this is one view that's out there, that the social environment is not receptive to men in a particular way. I think men struggle putting masculinity at the forefront. I think men from a young age do struggle to some degree with the defining who they are, because there is kind of a fabrication that we kind of cart around as men of what it is to be a man. And this is why I'm talking about, you can see this, it's not women who are jumping off subway trains, and we're not seeing massive deaths from subway surfing with women. Why do men feel compelled to put their lives at risk in a way that women don't? This is useful in a militaristic standpoint in recruiting people to military, because men are willing to sacrifice their lives to prove their courage, prove their bravery, to prove themselves. But there's also an unhealthy drive to this, because there's this almost unachievable ideal of what it is to be a man that men largely cannot live up to, because it's unrealistic, and it denies vulnerability. And whether you're a man or a woman, you have vulnerabilities, and actually coming to terms with those and being able to express those is part of being a healthy human being. But we live in a society now where there's so many pressures, particularly on men. Men have to perform. One of the greatest pressures identified is economic pressure. We live in very trying economic times. We're also living in a very trying political environment. And men are struggling to live up to this role of being the provider, the breadwinner in society, alongside other challenges. Again, and living up to this role, it also enforces this idea that you cannot be weak, you cannot express vulnerability. And again, men's ability to express themselves is somewhat being hampered. That's all for now. I'll be back to continue this train of thought very soon. Thank you for being with me. I'm Brendon Fallon. Stay tuned.